So where does your confidence come from? Hi, welcome to 5-Minute Fika, where we find the time to do a little self-care of the soul by thinking about true and beautiful things. Well, a few years ago, I learned a very useful phrase that I now use all the time, and it's, I have other strengths. This is very handy, especially if I'm right in the middle of doing something that I have no idea what I'm doing, which is sadly more common than you would think. It came about because, I had a career as a nurse and then I had a career living overseas. Well, eventually I found myself right in the middle of working in a marketing department. It was a brand new experience for me. And as a writer, I was fine, but within about a year, I found myself in a leadership position and I had zero idea what I was doing. I knew nothing about marketing. I'd never been in any kind of position like that. And I learned to tell myself, like, okay, just because I can't do this doesn't mean I can't do anything. I can do things. Well, the thing I decided to remind myself that I can do is I can bake. I can make a mean chocolate chip cookie. And so I started bringing cookies to meetings, partially just so I could distract people with sugar and they wouldn't realize that I had no idea what I was doing. But also just to remind myself that there was something I knew how to do. And I think this is an important lesson because I feel like there are a lot of buzzwords that get thrown around in our culture that people are confusing. And I think a lot of people tend to get very hurt unnecessarily when they don't need to feel hurt. One is confidence. I think a lot of times we associate confidence with maybe how someone looks or how they behave or how they act, but our confidence is actually related to our skill set. So when I started in marketing, I had a zero skill set when it came to being a marketer. But as I learned, as I studied, as I worked at it, as I practiced and practiced, my confidence level went up because my skill level went up. Now our skill level is related to, or in our confidence is related to what we do, which is a very different universe than what we are. What we are as humans is incredibly valuable. And I think a lot of times we tend to equate our worth and our value with our skill set. And they're not the same thing. Our skill set gives us confidence. Our worth and our value are inherent. They're part of who we are as humans. Nothing can take them away. Nothing should take them away. If anyone has ever treated you like you don't have dignity, then I'm so sorry. And they are wrong. No one can take your dignity away. It belongs to you. Every single human has dignity, has value, is infinitely valuable. Another couple of phrases that I hear people throwing around are self-esteem and shame. And I feel like those are actually related to the choices that we make. Not our strengths, not what we are, but the choices that we make. When we make choices to be kind and to be generous and to be loving and to have honor and to have integrity and to show people that they have dignity, those kinds of choices, they build our esteem, don't they? They build our self-esteem because we realize that we can be the kind of people that make other people feel good. We can be the kind of people that build up a society. On the other side, if we're making choices that are bad choices, if I'm choosing to be rude or arrogant or self-centered or selfish, those are choices that cause shame. And honestly, I should be ashamed of myself. If I'm behaving like that, I ought to be ashamed of myself. And I hear people associating shame with what they are, not with what they do. And I feel like that's a misapplication. Shame should never touch your value or your worth. And shame is not necessarily a bad thing. We act like it is because we don't like how it feels, right? We don't like feeling guilty. We don't like feeling ashamed. But guilt and shame are it's like a fever for your soul. It shows you that there's an infection that needs to be fixed, that there's something there that's wrong that needs to be healed. I had a situation where I was not behaving the way that I should. I was not being kind to people. And a friend of mine sat me down and called me out on it. And I was ashamed of myself. But she was right. I needed to hear that, and I needed to change my behavior. The beauty of it is that when we make bad choices, when we feel ashamed, we can fix it. That healing is through forgiveness. You can ask someone for forgiveness and they will forgive you. If someone has hurt you, you can forgive them. Everything has the opportunity to go toward the positive. You see, if I make good choices about my skills, if I choose to sharpen them, if I choose to hone them, then they get better and my confidence increases. If I choose to make good choices about my relationships with others, then my self-esteem increases. If I make bad choices and I hurt other people, I feel ashamed, as I should. But when I ask for forgiveness and they offer it, then my esteem can go back up again. My value doesn't have anything to do with choices. It is constant no matter what. And so is yours. It's this beautiful cycle of helping all of us build a life that's beautiful for one another, that we don't have to focus on our own lives, but we can focus on how do we build a world where everyone feels the dignity that they actually have. And those are the things that motivate me to consider how I'm behaving and what I'm doing and how I can do my part to make the world a better place. Because it is good to be alive. And we are not in this alone. And because you, my darling, are spectacular. Have a great day.